The most common question that I get from parents: when is my child going to get the results that we're expecting? When are they going to improve with their body's performance? That's a really tough question. And although we're not going to answer that direct question today, indirectly, I'm going to show you as a parent how we improve predictability on results here at Maximize Chiropractic. At Maximize Chiropractic, we use care plans that are designed to improve how the nervous system allows the body to heal itself. Now, a care plan is very important. It's a strategy we use to help determine how we can unravel stress that's been building for a lifetime. The traditional model that children are engaged in, this typical model of medicine, it is extremely symptom-based. It's designed when you enter with a symptom and you leave when the symptom is gone. The problem is that the cause of the problem, the cause of the symptom, it's never identified. You're constantly searching for diagnostic material. You go to a doctor, and let's use an ear infection as an example. You go to the doctor when the child is having pain. There's going to be an antibiotic that's recommended for the infection. As soon as the infection's gone, then the child is released. And then when the child goes back, and then goes back again, and then back again, somehow logic's no longer being used. You're going back to the doctor for the same exact problem over and over again. And then the outcome is eventually surgery and intervention, and nobody's questioning why. Why is this not working? Now, this treatment is necessary and approach in a lot of different aspects. That's not what we're here to discuss, but what the goal is to understand why, the root cause of why children are sick. Now, this is an important thing that we're going to work through this care plan process, and everything that we use here in office is neurologically based, meaning that we're focusing on using predictable improvements, growth and change, and we're doing this through several metrics. From the beginning, we start to work on what we consider the story. Now, some doctors who will be more medically based and they will call it the children's history. No, we're talking to the parents. We're asking you why your child is having these challenges. You're in the trenches. You're the one who knows exactly what's going on. And if you end up at a chiropractor's office, every other model has failed. Now, this is where we start to understand where this stress started. And we really want to look at the root cause. Why is this actually happening? Now, we don't start with the symptom. We don't start with, let me know what diagnosis has been given to you. In fact, anytime a parent tells me a diagnosis, I ask them to remove the diagnosis, remove the label, and let me know why their child is experiencing. What does that mean to you? Now, there's a lot of different factors that come into this story, and the story is so important. There is physical, chemical, and emotional stress. Now, we're going to break each of those down in just a moment, but each of those factors is the root cause. That is where the problem started. So we're going to look at the symptomatology, the presentation of issues today, but we're also going to go back in time. Now, this is where symptoms often evolve. The presentation of the child's health will evolve with time. And that evolution is so important because oftentimes your doctor is telling you, don't worry, they're going to grow out of it. It's going to go away. Get better, get better. No, these things evolve. And this is where physical stress can happen early in utero, meaning that if that child had a breech presentation, an abnormal presentation in utero, that's stress. If that child was born with intervention, whether it's forceps, whether it's vacuum extraction, whether it's cesarean section, chemically based, whether you had an epidural or Pitocin, that can start stress. Now, when we look at chemical stress, we're looking at medications. What are they taking today? Medications are great. They save lives, but they're not meant for daily consumption. So when a chemical is placed into the body, You can have an injury to the body's reaction. It can change the physiology and it can change how their body's performing. We're not even going to get into nutrition because most parents are aware that the standard American diet leads to the standard American diseases, which leads to why your children are reacting to the standard American dysfunction. Now, when we look at emotional distress, that's huge. We're talking stress with mom prior to conception. We're looking at pregnancy distress. We're looking at really the hardest challenge on the body. I mean, think of an emotional wound, how long you can carry that. Physical trauma, you can shake off pretty quickly. You break an arm, you're not going to remember that every day. But true emotional disheartache can really lead children to having trauma. So the story is very helpful. That's why we sit down in the very beginning and we go through the story with the parents. We're understanding, where did this happen, the percentage of life that they've had this stress with. Now, the objective testing is huge. We use technology called the Insight neurological scans. This is our objective testing. Now, this is a type of technology that very few offices are using. And it's because this testing allows us to understand how the nervous system's performing. Most tests are used diagnostically to give you a medication. We're using it analytically to understand where the body shows stress. So with this, we use this to understand what we can do to improve. Now, what's important is that analytical testing is used to understand why, to get to the root cause, whereas diagnostic testing is used to give you a diagnosis. The scans give us neurometrics, which are really neurological indicators of where stress resides. We use 3 scans. We use heart rate variability to understand the performance of the nervous system. We use thermography scans to understand where inflammation and stress resides at each segment of the spine. And we're using a surface EMG, which is allowing us to understand tone and energy and coordination of the neuromuscular system. These metrics are computerized, they're detailed, and they give me information. Now, with this, the third part is really the experience that I have. Now, experience is huge because this is not something that you can learn from a classroom. You have to be in the trenches yourself working with children. The experience allows me to understand how I can work with your child. And when we look at the story, we look at the scans, we look at the experience, then we calculate a care plan. We can then identify time and frequency and repetition, and when will this child start to see changes. Now, the frequency can start as often as twice a day if that child's really stuck in an intensive scenario. It might be as little as 3 times a week, and we use that frequency to gain momentum. But over time, we reduce frequency down, which is so different than what other doctors are doing. So when we look at this, we're going to sit down with you as a parent, and we're going to go through these details. We're going to go through these metrics. You're going to leave our office before ever starting or committing to care, knowing exactly what opportunities you have in our practice. Now, when we go through this, we're just granting the opportunity to understand, to make a true informed decision, not to scare you, not to push you hard, but to educate you on how your child can improve those changes. Now, if you have any questions at all, drop us a DM, give our office a call, check out our website, check out our bio. We are here to answer all questions. We want to make sure that we pre-frame these items to you before making a decision. So our care plan works, it makes miracles with children's health. And now that you have this understanding, I hope to hear from you if you have any questions. Thank you.